What should you do if you got arrested prior to your adjustment of status interview? Hey guys, my name is Marcus Wabshall. I'm an immigration attorney and I'm the founding attorney of Veritas Immigration Law, which is an immigration-only law firm located in Southwest Florida. If you are in the process of applying for an adjustment of status and you had some kind of interaction with law enforcement, if you got arrested, if you broke the law somehow, or you got in trouble with the police, this is something that you have to address it head on. You can't hide stuff like this from the immigration service. Even if you actually didn't do anything wrong or your charges got dismissed, even if nothing really came of it, this is something you can't hide from the immigration service, because this is all going to be about transparency. And if the immigration service discovers that you didn't disclose some kind of interaction with law enforcement or an arrest, it can lead to even more serious consequences, like not only a denial of your application, but it could lead to removal proceedings or to a denial of any future benefits that you may want to pursue, down the road in the future. So if you are in this kind of a situation, I want to give you guys some information to help you understand your situation and take some steps in the right direction, because in a lot of situations, this is something that you can fix, but you do have to be very transparent and address the issue head on. So the first thing you want to do is once something like this happens, you've got to communicate with your immigration attorney. Chances are that if you got in trouble with the police or you got arrested, you're probably going to have to work together with a criminal defense attorney. And a lot of times, criminal defense attorneys might be very skilled at getting charges dismissed or getting a charge knocked down from, a more serious charge to a less serious charge. But a lot of times criminal defense attorneys don't necessarily understand the immigration consequences of certain types of pleas or certain types of convictions. So it's really important that if you're in this situation, that you have good communication with your criminal defense attorney and your immigration attorney, so that they're working together to make sure that you get the best outcome for your immigration case, okay? A good criminal defense attorney and a good immigration attorney are going to help you understand the charges, the potential outcomes, and how these things are going to affect your adjustment of status application. The second thing that's very important is you're going to have to disclose everything to the USCIS. So USCIS requires full disclosure of any arrests, any charges, any convictions, anything illegal that you did, even if you didn't get caught. You've got to be honest and transparent with the immigration service with these kinds of things. So this means you're going to have to provide details of what happened. You'll want to give them any kind of documentation you have, booking reports, arrest records, final dispositions from a judge or a court, because if you don't provide this information, or if you only provide some of it but not all of it, or if you just fail to provide information about any arrest or conviction that you have, this can be considered a misrepresentation, which creates inadmissibility, okay? You do not want to get charged with a misrepresentation. You don't want the immigration service to think that you are not being transparent with your background. A lot of times people think that if they disclose something negative, that it's going to automatically cause their application to get denied. And that's just not true. And if you show transparency right away at the beginning, that creates at least a favorable disposition from the immigration service, that they can see that you're being honest. So honesty really is the best policy with the immigration service. You want to be as transparent as possible with your situation and with your legal background. Depending on the type of charge or the type of conviction that's involved in your particular situation, there's going to be a different impact on your case. So the impact of any kind of an arrest or a charge or a conviction is going to depend on the nature of the offense, right? So minor infractions or charges that maybe don't even result in a conviction are going to have less of an impact compared to more serious crimes, okay? You want to work with your immigration attorney to make sure that you're giving all the information to your attorney, so that that attorney can assess those charges, can assess the statutes involved, and can do a really good analysis on how this is going to influence the Immigration Service's decision on your adjustment of status application. Okay? This is definitely something that you want to take very seriously. If you have been arrested by the police before your green card has been approved or before you have an adjustment of status interview, it's something that is a serious matter. You got to take it seriously, even if you don't think the charges are serious, or even if the case was dropped against you. Even if you weren't guilty of anything, if you got arrested, you still have to disclose the arrest to the Immigration Service. And you want to do it right away as soon as you possibly can. So hopefully you are working closely with your immigration attorney to explain the circumstances and thoroughly prepare your application to the Immigration Service. They may ask you to submit certified court documents or final dispositions if your charges are still pending. They may hold your application in abeyance. They may just refuse to make a decision on your application until your charges are resolved. So that can happen. If, for example, if it happened kind of towards the end of your adjustment process and the charges just haven't resolved yet, an immigration officer is pretty much just going to do one of three things. He's either going to deny your application, he's going to approve it if it's not something that creates any risk of inadmissibility, or the more likely result is that they'll put your application on hold and wait for the charges to resolve, okay, until there's a final disposition of your whatever your charges are. So that is why you want to work really closely with your criminal defense attorney and your immigration attorney to make sure that you get the best result possible. And the last thing I want to say is, if you are scheduled for an interview and you're in the middle of this kind of a situation, you want to go to the interview and take it really, really seriously. Go with your attorney and very thoroughly prepare for the interview, like with your attorney. Ask him to do preparation sessions with you. Dress nicely. Look professional. During the interview, you want to be able to answer any types of questions about your arrest or legal background very articulately and very calm, right? You want to be able to just explain what happened, explain why it was kind of like something maybe that was out of character for you, especially if you don't have any other kind of legal stuff in your background. But just be honest, be transparent with the Immigration Service. If they see you as somebody who's just being kind of shifty and not looking like you're very honest or transparent about your situation, those are the kind of things that lead to denials or lead to very extended issuances of RFEs, or just like can really delay your case or complicate it even more. So that is my advice in this kind of a situation. Obviously, if you're in this kind of situation, you want to communicate very clearly with your attorney and understand the situation as best that you can. And the only way that you can do that is by being transparent. You got to be transparent with your attorney, you got to be transparent with the court and with the Immigration Service.